Hello and welcome to my first video of the series, Excel in Life. I've been feeling kind of nerdy lately and I've been using a lot of spreadsheets to plan out my family's life in numbers. And I wanted to share these spreadsheets with you through this new series, Excel at Life. So be sure to follow me here on YouTube and to also follow my blog, DIYHomeHealth.com. Now let's talk about renting versus buying a home and which one is best for you. First off, we got to look at the cost of buying a home. For those of you who aren't familiar with buying a home, I'm using my personal experience buying a home about 2 years ago. Our house cost $199,000. We put 10% down. The property taxes for that is around $283 a month. Keep in mind, property taxes do change, so that's a number that sometimes varies. Closing costs were around $6,000, which is pretty average. And then with that percentage of the house that we bought. And then insurance is $67 a month. And then PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Yes, that's something different than hazard insurance. PMI is for people who just don't have 20% down on the value of the home. So since we only put 10% down, we have PMI, but since we got a conventional loan, that PMI will disappear when we get 20% of the money down in the home, which is actually coming up. I think in one more year we'll hit it, since we've been adding extra money to the principal of the loan, which is just the loan amount that we take out. Now, I don't show you here the interest that we are charged, but it's actually more than what we put down for the principal, which is crazy. And it all sums up into a total monthly payment of $1,200. That include our house loan, the interest, the property taxes, the insurance, and the PMI. So around $1,200. So what I did over here in this spreadsheet is I multiplied that by 12, which came to $14,400. And then in this left column, I show how much we would have been spending through rent. And I started off using just the basic amount that we were paying when we first started renting, which was $700. As you can see, we actually increase it as it goes on, because if you've rented for any length of time, you know that they often increase your rent every year or every few years. So you can see it increasing over time. I did cap it at $1,200 because that is where we stopped renting. We were renting a townhome for that amount that had very spacious 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So that's where we thought was a good area to stop for this example. But keep in mind, depends on your area. These costs for renting and for buying a house may seem really cheap to you if you live in California or New York. So we're in Pennsylvania. Welcome to low-cost living. Okay, so kind of going down here to show you what I did. Since our loan or mortgage is for 30 years, I took it at a 30-year approach. So you see here I ended it at 31, since I have that header in the first row. And I summed it up, that would be the total spent. And you may think, looks like renting's a better deal than buying a home, because it's about, $50,000 cheaper. Well, that's really only the surface level here. You have to think about a few additional things. First off, if you're renting, you're not putting any assets together in your portfolio, basically. Now, I'm not necessarily calling a home an asset. When it comes to home buying, you don't get as much out of it as you used to. Back in the day, you could buy a property and it would increase in value, and then you sell it and it's worth double the price. I'm not seeing that happen very often anymore. And from people that I talk to that have sold their home, usually a lot of them lost value, especially if they sold it during the crash back in 2008 or around there. So keep in mind, the economy is a big factor in that, and you can never really guarantee that you'll make your money back when selling a property. So really, how think about buying a home is not whether you're getting an asset per se, as much as it's trying to lessen the amount of money that you lose with living costs, because everyone has to live somewhere unless you live in your parents' basement. But I mean, you eventually have to move out, right? So when it comes to renting and buying a home, think about it in how much money can I save through renting or through buying a home. Depends on what you want out of it. So keep in mind, because we bought a property, we can sell it for the same amount, hopefully, that we bought it for. So that was $199. And so over here, we can do a little formula to see let's see, B32 minus B33. And that would be the amount that we kind of would spend that we wouldn't get back. It would be wasted. And let's go back over here. And you might think, well, now I'm saving a little bit more, but at the same time, a house takes more to take care of it. So there's a lot of hidden costs. So here are just a few. Of course, utilities are practically the same. You'll probably spend more on a home with electricity because it's a bigger building that you're usually buying. And, some things are covered by renting facilities that may not be covered by a single family home, but they may be covered by like a condo or a townhome. So keep that in mind. For example, trash and water is usually paid by rent if you're a renter, but you'll have to pay it if you're a homeowner. So in terms of hidden costs, which actually my next video is on the hidden costs of buying a home, so come back to watch that one. But I calculated the hidden cost is going to be around $25,000, and most of that is going to be one time. There's a few small things, such as for landscaping, if you get True Green to make your lawn all nice, then that's, I think like $30 a month or however much it is. So some of these are repeating, but I'll go more into that on the next video. This is just to give you a snapshot so we can add it into our lovely formula. So here we go. We were down at 233, but now we have to add the 25,000. That's the hidden cost. Oops, what did I do wrong? It doesn't like my comma. Okay, there we go. And then, you have to think, well, what if you have a really big expense, like your roof needs repaired? That's like a $10,000, $15,000 renovation. So you have that risk, but for this case, we're going to just say that we didn't have any issues before we sold the home. Now, I'm going to turn the tables again because we've added a little bit more to this, but then we're not doing the slow 30-year payoff. We're actually accelerating our payoff, which will save us money in a few areas. For one, we'll get PMI removed faster, which you can see all these numbers are the same. I didn't actually get it removed off in the Excel formula here. I could have, but I figured it was small enough where I could calculate it out. And also, for the sake that I'm also found that I'm putting in $100 extra towards the principal of the loan, which means overall, I've kind of summed up that it'd probably save me around $60,000 to $70,000 by the time we pay off this loan early, which means we are now minusing. We'll do $70,000 to say that in my older years I'm very successful, and I can put more money down on the mortgage. So we're going to do B34, and we're going to minus 70,000. There we are. So back down to 188,000. That's pretty good. Yeah, you're still spending quite a bit of money, but at the same time, you're not spending as much as you would have been if you're renting, because that rent money is just completely wasted right there. Now, where the magic of home buying really actually pays off is after those 30 years. because in renting, you're still going to have to pay that $14,000. So let's add this in here and pay down, let's say 60 years. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. Guys, copy that, scroll it down, 61, paste. There we go. Sorry for the bold, guys. Okay, so we're still paying that rent, but here we're only having to pay the property and the insurance. So let's calculate that out. So that's going to be $34.21. And to make our calculations a little bit easier, I'm just going to put this over here. Copy that, bring it all the way down to, oops, we wanted to do 61, or 60. The 61 is because I have that one area up here. And actually, we'll have to move some of these. So 188, have that number in mind. I'm relying on you to have that number in mind. We're just going to delete this. Okay, so our sum is $99,209 plus, what was the number? Was it $199? I think it was. I'm relying on you and you're not telling me, so I'm just going to put $199 because I can't remember. Okay, there it is. Well, this one here is actually going to be, let's stretch this out so I can find the sum here. Oh, there it is. Sum A2 is 61. Oh my goodness, look how much of a difference that makes. So when it boils down, if you're renting all your life and you're not buying a house and then reaping the benefits of being in that house for a really long time, you are actually spending, let's see how much more than the home buyer. Oops. Wow, close to $52,000 is what you would actually be spending more, or $516,000. Sorry guys, misspoke there. Psych, it's actually way more. Wow, that's a lot of money. What can you do with that money? You could get a really nice car, get several homes. You could get your kids through college and have really beautiful weddings and vacations. So it actually does make a big difference over the long haul if you expect to be in a house. Now, if you keep on moving and keep on getting bigger houses and keep on having to pay that interest, you probably wouldn't save as much as if you just bought a home now and lived in it your entire life. But there are some downsides to doing that. So, for example, renting would give you, as Braveheart would say, freedom. Yes, it gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to move. It gives you freedom to, leave your home and go to a foreign country. Keeps you on your toes. A home is very grounding. You have to stay there. You have to take care of it. So there's that. Pro of renting is also there's no large maintenance payouts. Remember, we didn't calculate any roof repair that you would have in that. And also, you have more time if you're renting because you don't have to do landscaping or do DIY projects or clean as big of a house. You could rent a really small house. Of course, you could buy a really small house. So that one kind of cancels out. But I still think you save more time because personally in my life, renting was just so much easier and so much less stressful than buying a home. But there's also pros of buying a home. For example, it's an asset Like I said, it's a way that's going to save you money. It's not going to make you money, though, just to clarify that. Unless you are really good at like flipping a house or seeing the market or even renting out your home, then it might make you some money from the resale. And then, of course, you can do whatever you want with it. It's your property. So if you want to totally, floor it and build something from scratch, you could, as long as you get the licenses to do it. And then you could develop the land and improve upon the house. You could have a garden outside and grow your own veggies. So there's a lot of benefits of buying a home that you can't do if you're renting. So I hope this video has helped you kind of see the pros and cons of renting. Once again, it's definitely personal preference on what you want to do. And I'd love to hear in the comments your take on whether renting or buying a home was right for you and what made the decision for you guys. Thanks for joining.